Petrol heads of a certain generation might be a little bit confused when talking about the Ford Puma and how it's become one of the most popular compact crossovers in the UK today. Hark back to the late 90s and the Puma was a compact coupe that was based on the Ford Fiesta. It was hugely desirable, affordable and great fun to drive. But move forward to this generation and it's a completely different story. It's now turned into a compact crossover with an elevated driving position and usable rear seats. But what's really interesting is how the Puma has managed to completely change its identity while still maintaining the DNA of what made the Puma so popular in the first place. It's still great to drive, hugely desirable and still affordable, but it's now practical too. In this video, we're going to be taking a closer look at this generation of Ford Puma. We're going to see what it's like to drive and the key things that you need to be looking out for when shopping around for one. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, when talking about compact cars, you could be forgiven for conjuring up images of compact super minis or city cars with very little space inside. But with the Puma, it's extremely well packaged. In fact, so much so that you have to wonder how they've actually done it. Inside the cabin is pretty standard fare for Ford, so if you're familiar with the brand, then it won't take you too long to adjust and get used to it. If you're not that familiar with it, well, it might take just a little bit longer to get used to, but on the whole, all the buttons and controls are logically laid out. Plus, they've got a very solid, weighty feel to them. There's some really nice soft touch materials as well, dotted around the cabin, contrasted by some harder wearing materials, which will mean it's going to be a bit more durable. I would say it's probably not as luxurious as you'd find in some of the Puma's more premium compact crossover rivals, but then it's not at the same price point either. Another bit of good news though is that every model comes with an 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system, and that controls everything from your satellite navigation to your radio settings and your phone connectivity. And this car is compatible with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Now, the packaging of the Puma is extremely clever. Two adults will be more than comfortable in the front of the car with ample headroom and a decent amount of leg space. The seats are fully adjustable, so the driver's is on a ratchet so it can go up and down, and the steering wheel can go in and out as well as up and down. So no problems with getting that perfect driving position. There's also these figure-hugging Recaro sports seats on ST models as well. So they keep you nice and pinned in should you find yourself driving in a more spirited fashion down a country lane. Now onto the business of back seats. We'd say this is better suited to 2 adults rather than 3, just because that middle seat is quite narrow, plus legroom is limited because of a transmission tunnel that runs down the length of the car. However, we will say if you're carrying children and you need child seats, there are 2 ISOFIX mounting points on the outer seats. Now, the boot is also a decent size for a car with such compact dimensions, but it can be extended by folding down those split fold rear seats, and should you need even more room, there is some extra space under the floor. So let's talk engines, and it's somewhat refreshing that there isn't too much choice, and to be fair, whichever one you opt for has its selling points. There are 2 versions of a 1-litre petrol engine, which come with either 123 brake horsepower or 153 brake horsepower, and both are available with either a 6-speed manual or a 7-speed automatic one. Which one you opt for will really depend on how you're going to use it. The lower powered 123 brake horsepower version will be better suited to city driving, while the more powerful one will be better on life on the open road. Now, I know what you're thinking, 1 litre, 123 brake horsepower, sporty? Well, not only does it handle impressively well, a trademark of compact Fords, but it will do the 0 to 60 dash in around 9.5 seconds, or 8.5 seconds if you opt for the more powerful 153 brake horsepower version. But if you want more thrills, then this 197 brake horsepower 1.5 litre petrol is the very definition of fun to drive, and that will do the 0 to 60 mph dash in an impressive 6.5 seconds. Finally, a mild hybrid with a 1 litre engine is available with 168 brake horsepower, but that's not for the driving purist. It's more suited to anyone looking to save money at the petrol pumps. Now, as we mentioned earlier, Ford has a track record of making fun small cars. And when you consider the Puma is essentially based on the equally fun to drive Fiesta, it's no surprise that they've hit a winning formula. Obviously, raising the height of the car can transform the way it handles in the bends, but there's really no negatives to the way that this car copes with corners. It's nimble and agile, which makes it great whether you're nipping through city traffic or blasting down a country lane. The body roll is kept to a minimum and the ride is a little on the firm side. I'd say if there was any slight downside, that it's maybe not quite as supple over potholes or other uneven road surfaces than some of its rivals. But it's by no means a reason to look elsewhere. At no point does it become really uncomfortable. So how about running costs? Well, the 1 litre mild hybrid will return around 50 miles per gallon and will offer the best value if running costs are a big factor in your purchasing decision. The 1 litre EcoBoost will do around 46 miles per gallon, while this sportier 1.5 litre ST will do just over 40 miles per gallon, depending of course on how you drive it. Now, while this ST is great fun to drive, the best blend of performance and economy would be the 1 litre EcoBoost hybrid. It's got enough power for most people while being pretty cheap to run at the pumps. So that's the engines. How about trim levels? Well, even basic titanium trim comes pretty loaded as standard and includes things like automatic lights and wipers, heated door mirrors, air conditioning and parking sensors. But then if you upgrade to the ST line, then you'll get a 12.3-inch digital display which sits right in front of the driver and more figure-hugging seats. Then if you go further up the tree, you've got ST Line X, which adds climate control and bigger wheels, plus an upgraded stereo. Then right at the top, there's ST Line Vignale, which adds heated leather seats and steering wheel and keyless entry. We'd recommend opting for the ST Line X trim or above, as it has all the essentials that most motorists would consider important. Now onto the all-important question of what you need to look for when you're shopping around. Well, the key thing is to always have a good look through the service history and make sure that all the services have been done at the right times. According to our data, common faults include an alternator, which can cost £1,174 to replace. A steering rack and pinion can cost around £800 to replace. And finally, the O2 sensor, which will cost around £335 to replace. The Ford Puma has become the go-to choice for anyone looking for a compact crossover in the UK, in a market where the competition is becoming more and more fierce. It ticks virtually every box for anyone who's looking for a car that's affordable, desirable, great to drive, and surprisingly practical too. There's a good choice of engines and trim levels on offer, but not so many that it's going to feel like a minefield. For us, we'd be more inclined to go for the 1 litre hybrid version, which offers a great blend of performance and economy. But if you want something that's going to put a smile on your face every time you take it out for a spin, then this 1.5 litre ST is well worth considering. Thanks for watching this used car review of the Ford Puma. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do drop us a like. And if you want to see more videos just like this one, then hit the subscribe button, clicking that bell icon so that you're notified every time we upload a new video.